All of us ducked. Fortunately, my ears had been flattened against my head, offering me some protection from the bartender's shotgun blast.
Fellas, you kill a Maynes, you'll have his blood after yours. It's not bullshit. He's the grandson of old King Cole. He's cold country royalty, with friends all up and down the east, right into the control.
I took 3 quick steps toward Maynes. I shouldered through Zehu's bully boys by dislocating their shoulders. Zehu lowered the knife.
Admit you're beat.
Road trash can't whip me!
We're beat! Admit it, Mr. Maynes, please.
Maynes started over.
Yeah, we're beat. But you fellas threw the first punch. The blood's on you.
Zehu nodded and released Maynes' jacket.
I think 3 King Jake's got a broke neck.
Zehu's man reported from the Kevlar-wearing gunner I'd struck.
We'll let the church sort it out. Maybe we can just be bygones over this.
He extended his hand to shake. Maynes brought up his knee and caught Zehu in the crux. A gathering throng pressed toward us.
No!
I pulled Maynes over the bar and followed him. The heavy oak would buy us a few moments of protection.
Stop this nonsense.
Those of you who live in these happier days have probably only seen waxworks or leftovers of the Reapers, though I know some still lurk in the more remote jungles and deserts of the world. I will spare you the dangers of the journey and meeting. They are of average Golden One height, which is to say about 2 heads above most male humans. Pale, fleshless, and stretched-looking, with a mouth full of black fangs. They're just human enough in expression to give sane humans a case of the horrors. To me, they look like a mad and depressed painter's portrait of a human corpse. Their muscles are like steel cables, tied directly to long, grasping fingers. I've seen pushed through viscera and muscle as easily as you might thrust your hand through a layer cake. It could throw me through the wall as easily as I'd lofted that unfortunate biker. Only a bear with his blood fully up has a chance hand-to-hand with one. One of the coal country troopers stood behind it. The trooper pointed at Zehu and whispered something. This Reaper was the most scarred I'd ever seen. Its face bore white lines running every which way, like a pad of paper that had been reused for tic-tac-toe. Its upper lip was missing, giving it a rather maniacal grin. The usual black fangs had been plated over with stainless steel and reinforced with wires near the root, like some kind of disastrous experiment in orthodontia. The label Frankensteinian is often used in describing the Reapers, though the lurching image evoked mischaracterizes their lethal precision of movement. But on this specimen, its use would be more apt than most. Holm and McTierney averted their eyes. I believe McTierney muttered a prayer, but the bar and one of Zehu's men absorbed any distinct words.
What are you doing here, Screech?
I'd never heard a Reaper called by a proper name.
Collecting an excise.
It stepped forward, and the Zehu men gave it at least twice its reach in space.
That's all I tried to do.
We did not elevate the Maynes family just to satisfy your need for sorry little cum boxes.
The coal country Kurian operating the Screech Reaper must have picked up an odd vocabulary in his time.
I will take over the negotiations with Mr. Zehu. You may retrieve your men and take your vehicle to the next brothel on your list.
Screech took Zehu over to a corner of the bar and began to speak to him. Zehu put on a brave face, but his body language read as cringe. The bartender gave Maynes an ice towel to press to his lip, and I helped McTierney and Holm out of their bonds.